Hey YouTube, extremely informative here. And for this little Thanksgiving special this evening, we're going to have a special guest, Murakumo Vance, YouTube user. And he's well known for his God Build video series on Warframe. So Vance, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Glad to be here. For anybody who is confused about Blake introducing me on my own channel, we're doing a double featurette for Thanksgiving where I've got my Jello shots here, and I've got my liquor here, and I'm basically getting plastered for the 100 subscribers that I just reached, and I'm also giving exposure to Blake as a uploader for Warframe Grandmaster Notes. But not everybody realizes that this isn't Blake's first rodeo. He actually did a few things before he got to Warframe Grandmaster Notes. You want to give him a little bit of a history lesson?
Yeah, I actually started working on a game called Medieval. And then Vance came along and introduced the idea of a new game called Orbis, which was a side-scroller shooter. Him being the artist, me being the programmer. But, unfortunately, I had to drop the project due to personal reasons, and reemerged as a YouTube uploader for Warframe Grandmaster Notes. Picked up where Sonic DH6 left off, and after one video I kind of decided to scrap that, and I'm back again with the video series, hoping that successful, everything goes well, schedule-wise, and to give you guys the latest on Warframe. Speaking of that game, I was wanting to ask you, Vance, some questions about the new update that just came out, including the new Warframe, Wukong. What you think about it?
Wukong. Well, Dragon Ball Z was inspired by Wukong. It's Journey to the East or Journey to the West. Don't quote me because I don't know which one it is. But I'm ecstatic to have the Warframe in the game just based off of theme. But I also like his powers. I like how his ult pretty much turns any melee that you have into like a Super Smash Brothers hammer, and you just go to town on people. I like the Cloud Walk, although I will say that I fought somebody in the Conclave earlier today who was using Wukong, and it was super unfair because he could just get up out of the battle and you couldn't do anything about it. He was just laughing in your face every time he took damage, which it's not very well balanced, but at the same time, you know, it is what it is, and I like him joining the roster. It's awesome to have him. I can't wait to get my hands on him.
Speaking of the Flying Cloud ability, a lot of the community has been giving DE some hate on the forums for a revamping of Zephyr. They want a flight ability on her. So do you think that this cloud ability that the Wukong has will answer the community's cries?
I think that you're thinking of Tailwind, and I couldn't agree with you more. Tailwind is one of those things where I see people using it at the height or descent of their bullet, the bullet dive, I think is what it's called. You jump
Bomb,
and then you
dive bomb,
y-
dive bomb.
no, that's a totally different thing. It's where
Okay.
you jump and you aim and you slowly, whatever that's called. I see people using Tailwind to get higher and continue to do this slow motion aim thing. And I think that maybe if you didn't throw out Tailwind, if you just modified it and called it Glide, where instead of it taking up 10 energy just to cast it, you could, activate Tailwind, and it would be like an energy drain, sort of like Wukong's Cloud Walker, and you could just fly. It would just be an infinite fly until you run out of energy. Because I realize that there's a lot of Zephyrs out there who use the Tonkor, and they treat it like it's an AC-130, and they just fly by and bomb enemies underneath, which is really cool. No other Warframes can do that, and if there's anybody who would automatically oppose this suggestion, just think to yourselves for a second. DE has stated, especially with Parkour 2.0, that they want us to be able to do these magnificent, acts of parkour and crazy epic maneuvers. They want us to do that with like the greatest of the ease. They want us to perform it with just a flick of a wrist. So if we make this addition to Zephyr, then I think that answers the I think that that's the appropriate way to balance out Zephyr and also give players what they want from her.
Speaking of new Warframes coming out, a lot of people are wondering when the Archer Warframe is going to release. Maybe in the update around Christmas time. People are really speculating about that. When do you think that new Warframe will be due to release?
Well, I mean, DE has put release dates on things before and not met them. I remember both the Kavats and the Excalibur Umbra was due out, about a month ago, before I even attended the NYCC after party. So I couldn't tell you. I don't even think they could tell you, because as soon as they go to tell you something, it's automatically subject to change.
Yeah. And the new PvP involving the Arcwings that a lot of the community are speculating, throwing out those ideas like, hey, Arcwing PvP would be cool, could not be cool. What's your input?
Arcwing itself is it's a hit and miss, especially amongst the community. Half the people I talk to, actually it's a little bit more than half the people that I talk to, they dislike it. I myself included. I don't like the concept of Arcwing. I think that it brings a lot of interesting ideas to the table, and I like the overall aesthetics of being underwater and being out in space. But as far as it being implemented in PvP, I think that that's an outstanding idea. I think that it's a whole lot more balanced than the standard Conclave system. There's just too many varied Warframes that have all these different powers, and I don't feel like powers should be a thing at all. I don't think that Warframes should be able to use their powers. So if we translate that to Arcwing, there's not a whole lot of difference in powers. And it would be like, a Star Fox dogfight PvP, and I'm all for that. I used to love Star Fox back in the N64 days. So seeing Arcwing PvP would be a welcome change for Arcwing, because Arcwing is getting a lot of flack right now, and I think that PvP would be the perfect place for it.
And I also think, taking powers out of PvP would balance a lot of things as well. Speaking about that, a lot of people are asking what the hell DE is going to do with Conclave PvP and Dark Sector PvP. They're just wondering, what the hell is Digital Extremes going to do? Are they going to improve some things over here, take out stuff? What do you think should be their best approach?
Well, I gotta tell you, the nostalgia factor for me was real back when they first showed screenshots of the Conclave Dark Sector PvP. It made me reminiscent of Star Wars Battlefront, because we were told that we were going to have all these NPCs supporting us and supporting the opposing team, and it was just going to be this epic scale warfare for this fight for this one objective. And I think that when it was finally released, DE dropped the ball and disappointed us all. As much as I love DE, I gotta call it how I see it. I gotta look at this from an unbiased point of view, and DE has dropped the ball. They have disappointed us, so I think that they definitely need to make up for it with the new Dark Sector system, if it does become a system. I think that the PvP itself should not be so linear in scale to clans and alliances. I don't feel like alliances should be able to bribe people to fight for them. I think that it should just be a matchmaking system where you just, if that Dark Sector is in dispute, you really just go in there and have a blast. It should be a voluntary thing. You should be able to go into the Dark Sector regardless of whether it's under PvP bout or not, and then just choose if you want to fight in the PvP aspect, or you want to do PvE, because not everybody wants to do PvP. Some people just have no interest for it whatsoever. But if they were to bring the Dark Sectors back as a PvP and make it a little bit more like Star Wars Battlefront, you have these huge epic scale war zones going on, and you've got all these specters that are getting into the mix. I think that it would be really awesome just to see it all go down, just to see a big 16 on 16, 8 players versus 8 players, and 8 bots versus 8 bots. I think that would be really awesome, especially with that old map that they had. I think that'd be an awesome idea.
Yeah, I feel like if they were to put a matchmaking system in there and just, wipe the floor away with clans and alliances, just pure matchmaking, that would improve the system so much better. Speaking about clans and alliances, we have our clan, StarCom. Vance, you want to give them a rundown about that?
For all of my God Builds episodes, I've been telling you guys that there are recruitment details in the description, and nothing's going to change with this video. We're still going to put the recruitment details in both my version of the video and Blake's. So if you want to get in contact with us and become a StarCom clan member, that doorway is always open to you. We're always open to welcome new members. And as far as anything we do outside of Warframe, Blake mentioned before that we did Orbis, and it was a indie side-scrolling shooter project. That project is still in the works. It's just a dormant project, so all you programmers out there, all you artists that might be interested in helping us out, we're willing to welcome you in too.
And you know what? That just about wraps it up for tonight. I'll be catching you guys later. Thanks for watching.
So, like, share, comment, subscribe, the usual.
And peace.
Peace.